I think, though, social media is a particularly grey area because we know that because the social media companies have been quite negligent in allowing bots to proliferate on their platforms. Half the time we don't even know if a person posting something on social media is a real individual. There's no verification that an individual is a real person. So I think free speech in society and free speech in certain forums is not necessarily the same thing as free speech on social media. And I am actually a critic of social media. I think it's not that I want them to censor more, but I wish they would control some of the more malicious activity on social media that might be from Chinese bots, from Russian bots, and the like. I think social media companies actually get away with a lot. I can't comment on that particular instance of people using code to escape social media censorship. I've been censored on social media for. I can't run ads for Quillette on social media because I've been flagged as adult content, as pornography, because some of my articles have nude statues or nude pieces of art. So I'm adult content. Now that's because social media is basically run by algorithms. There's no person behind the desk making the decision. So I'm not a fan of social media companies, but I would distinguish between free speech on social media and free speech in broader society. I think there's separate domains.
Well, I classify you as adult content, but for this reason, you have adult conversations on Quillette, as we strive to do here.
Yeah.
And it's in a world where, you know, the tendency is to dumb down almost everything and not have serious conversations, even about really serious topics, like climate change, or perhaps, you know, more directly, the energy policy that flows from climate change. And what I detect, I think, is this sort of premature closure of minds. You know, they've made up their mind about there's one point of view, they won't accommodate any other, and so the whole conversation gets dumbed down in order to sort of support that point of view. I'm sure, like me, you've got your doubts about the feasibility of the current path towards the goal of net zero emissions by 2050. Let's set aside what we think of that goal for a moment, because it's locked into legislation, foolishly in my view, but there it is. That's our goal. The crucial question now is how best to get there without sending ourselves back to some dark and dismal pre-industrial age. Now, there are good ways to do this, I would have thought, or potentially good ways, and you and I think, share the same excitement about the possibilities of the technological advances that have been made in nuclear generation, particularly small nuclear reactors. Perhaps first of all, tell me about your understanding of small modular reactors and why you, like me, are willing to take this idea seriously.
Well, they're the next generation of nuclear technology. So we all know about the huge nuclear plants that have popularised on The Simpsons and are associated with, nuclear plants in Ukraine and Russia and so on and so forth. But the next generation of nuclear technologies sort of takes innovation in nuclear energy generation right down to a very small size, so that these modular reactors can be built within 3 to 5 years, far cheaper than the big plants, and are safer because they can be moved. You can move a small modular reactor from one spot to another